Good afternoon. May I ask you all to please rise while the Rutgers Brass Ensemble, under the direction of Dr. Joe Schiavo, plays and Dion Fields sings our national anthem. Thank you, Ms. Fields, for that beautiful rendition of the national anthem. Joining the students, faculty, and staff of the law school today for this wonderful occasion are Chancellor Wendell Pritchett of the Camden campus and my fellow deans, Chris Lindenmeyer of the Faculty of Arts and Sciences, Joanne Robinson of our School of Nursing, and Jai Ganesh of our School of Business. From the boards of governors and trustees are Dorothy Stenitis, Robert Mortensen, Marissa Dietrich, George Rears, and our own distinguished alumna, Jeannie Fox. We are pleased to have from the federal bench, Judge Noel Hillman. From the New Jersey Judiciary is our colleague, Appellate Judge Jack Sabatino, as well as our alumni, Judges Fran Axelrod and Judge Ron Freeman. Judge Freeman this afternoon will present his niece, Nina James, her degree. We also welcome our former congressman and friend and supporter, Rob Andrews. Assemblywoman Pam Lampert is on stage with us and will present her daughter, Eileen, her degree. And we also welcome the distinguished legal journalist, Jack Ford, who is here to see his son-in-law, Patrick Haggerty, receive his JD today. I wish also to add a special word of welcome to our speaker, the former Chief Justice of the Supreme Court, Deborah Poritz. It is a pleasure to welcome you back to our campus. You spoke 15 years ago at my first graduation, and you have taught 3 years for us as a distinguished jurist in residence. But most of all, your career of first in government and on the Supreme Court is an inspiring example of true professionalism for all of our students. I must report, though, that you might be the only graduation speaker this year at any university who has not only received no protests, but whose selection has been universally praised by the entire community. This is the 84th graduation ceremony of our school. For the first 18, the school was a freestanding law school named South Jersey College of Law. For the past 66 graduations, we have been an integral part of Rutgers, the State University of New Jersey. For 18 of those 66 graduations, we were one of 2 campuses of Rutgers Law School, albeit a junior partner with the law school in Newark. We became Rutgers School of Law Camden in 1967, independent from Newark. As you all probably know, we are in the process of reestablishing Rutgers Law School, but by combining our law school with the Newark Law School to create one school with 2 campuses, each firmly rooted in their own campus and community, but connected so that we can become and be recognized as one of the leading public law schools in the country. To symbolize that new relationship, I am pleased that Newark Acting Dean Ron Chen and Vice Dean Reed Weisbord have joined us today. On behalf of the faculty and Rutgers University, I welcome the graduates of the class. I say congratulations for a job well done. The class of 2014 has been in law school during an extraordinary time. Never before has the public media, such as the New York Times, questioned the value proposition of a law degree because of the unprecedented depressed job market for lawyers. And then, during your first year, we were challenged by a plan that would have separated our law school and our campus from Rutgers University. But you are an extraordinary class capable of answering these challenges. You fought with a fierce determination to remain part of Rutgers because of your pride in our law school. And you were joined in this effort by our extraordinary alumni and faculty. They cared deeply as well, but they also gained inspiration from your determination and pride. I cannot overemphasize the impact you had. Your eloquent personal narratives as to why you chose Rutgers-Camden Law School and what this education means to you did as much as anything to secure our success. But what is extraordinary about your class, what is also extraordinary about your class is that despite everything, you have accomplished the ordinary challenges of learning the law and the skills of a lawyer with great distinction. You have arrived at the law school with exceptionally strong measures of intelligence, but you also came with a remarkable commitment to improving our social and academic community. As leaders of student groups, you have planned and carried out many functions that have helped to strengthen student bonds and faculty-student relations. Through your hard work and intelligence, you have brought the school great distinction as members of the staff and editorial boards of the Rutgers Law Journal, of the Journal of Law and Religion, and the Journal of Law and Public Policy. You also served as members of the newly redesigned Hunter Moot Court Board, as participants in national and regional moot courts, and our nationally successful trial advocacy team, and as teaching assistants for our highly ranked first-year legal writing, analysis, and research program. Your class has also contributed a great deal of support for our civic engagement mission to our community of Camden and South Jersey. You have devoted countless hours to volunteering in the Pro Bono Advocacy Project. Almost 25% of you were honored for having worked in the program for over 50 hours of pro bono service, while some were honored for over 100 hours of service. You were instrumental in helping immigrants receive fair treatment through Citizenship Rutgers. Prisoners obtain the opportunity to succeed in their lives after release, and enabling not-for-profit organizations to obtain 501c3 status. Additionally, those of you in APLE have raised significant money for public interest summer stipends, and you also organize spring break public interest service trips. I want also to acknowledge the tremendous outreach contributions that those of you who have worked in the lawyering program have made. Your work with the victims of domestic violence, with children in the juvenile justice system, and with the elderly has benefited many of our area's most disadvantaged. Those of you who have worked in externships have written bench memos and opinions for federal, state, and administrative law judges, have worked with U.S. attorneys, prosecutors, and defenders, legal services, and state and local governments. Altogether, members of the school have provided more than 40,000 hours of service to the community and have gained invaluable experiences in the skills and values of a lawyer's work. I would also like to acknowledge the amazing energy and imagination and creativity those of you who were in the highly acclaimed Marshall Brennan program brought to your teaching of constitutional law to students in Camden high schools. Your class is also special in that you, through no fault of your own, face the most uncertain employment future in several generations. However, we are pleased that our clerkship rates have remained high. About 40% of you will be serving as judicial clerks for the federal and state judiciaries, both at the trial and the appellate level, including the New Jersey Supreme Court and a number to other state court systems. Many of you will be going to private firms of all sizes throughout the Delaware Valley, as well as other regions of the country. Some will be going to prosecutors' offices, to public defenders' offices, and to work for other governmental agencies. A number of you will either be opening your own practices or pursuing other business or entrepreneurial opportunities. Or you'll be working in the nonprofit sector. However, some of you have not yet found employment in this economy. The faculty and the administration are trying hard to offer whatever assistance we can. While we cannot solve all of the problems created by the economy, everyone is committed to doing what we are able to do. We are working on programs to provide each of you legal experiences now that will allow you to build on the legal theory and lawyering skills you have learned and will prepare you well to succeed as you pursue varied opportunities in the future. If our recent graduates' careers serve as guides, most of you will be testing the limits of your preparation and passing with flying colors as you move to different challenges in the next several years. We also take pride in your joining officially the community of Rutgers-Camden Law alumni. As I have said, the alumni are extraordinary and are incredibly supportive. Through their accomplishments and words, the alumni have refuted the New York Times questioning the value of a law degree. None has been more eloquent than a graduate who has been out fewer than 10 years. He wrote me that he had a good but not a stellar student. He found only contract work for a year or two, but then took a job in a Fortune 100 company in their contract compliance department. He worked hard, was promoted, was able to hire some Camden classmates, and then was promoted to the legal department, becoming the first non-Ivy League graduate to work there. He married a law school classmate, and he described them as having law school debt, but positive about their future. But it was his closing that to me was so powerful. He said, and I quote, "Should the New York Times ask me, what value did the Rutgers University School of Law Camden provide you? My response would be simply opportunity. It is my most fervent wish that in your new profession and in your career and in your relations with your new alma mater, each and every one of you will manifest the intelligence, the energy, the professionalism, and commitment to justice that as members of the class of 2014 you have displayed during your years here, and that each of you can say 10 years from now that you seized the opportunity the law school has provided you, and you have fulfilling professional and personal lives." Yesterday, at the campus honors convocation, we recognized the students who have received awards that are described in your program. I cannot acknowledge all of them now, but I offer again congratulations. And congratulations also to all of you who are graduating with academic honors, including a number of you in the part-time program who balance work and families and studies with such a high degree of success. Joanne Farber and Shlomo Citron were presented the Rutgers Award for Outstanding Scholastic Achievement. And Amanda Follett And Amanda Follett received the Paul C. Ireton Prize for the highest academic average in the class. There are 7 people in the class who are receiving their law degrees as part of a joint degree program. These include graduates receiving an MPH and the MBA from our business school. As someone with a joint degree, I know the hard work and effort that went into successfully completing these programs. While I miss not having graduation on campus, being here does have one advantage. We are able to have the faculty on stage to honor the class as you receive your degrees. Ours is a wonderfully productive scholarly faculty, which is always ranked among the top quarter of all law faculties for the importance of its work. It is also a highly effective teaching faculty. At the SBA reception, several of the faculty were recognized for outstanding teaching. The students honored Dennis Brathwaite as Professor of the Year, Bill McLaughlin as New Professor of the Year, J.C. Lohr as Lawyering Professor of the Year, Richard Barkasy as Adjunct Professor of the Year, and Tim West as New Adjunct Professor of the Year. Arlene Latini was chosen as Administrator of the Year, and Marjorie Hemmings was selected as Staff Person of the Year. Professor Carol Wallinger received the Chancellor's Award for Teaching Excellence. Graduation marks departures for more than just the class of 2014. I want to wish my longtime colleague and advisor and friend, Kim Verzan, who's an extraordinary scholar and teacher, all the best as she moves to the University of Virginia. And although Jean Galbraith has not been with us as long, we also wish our colleague and friend all the best as she will continue her brilliant career at the University of Pennsylvania. As most of you know, this is my last year presiding at graduation. I'm neither leaving the campus nor leaving this law school. I'm just changing my role. For me, my 16 years at University-Camden School of Law have been remarkable. What we, not I, have been able to accomplish, whether constructing the new building or hiring brilliant faculty or increasing the endowment or expanding our engagement with Camden and South Jersey or strengthening the sense of community within the school and within our alumni body. All of these have been completely a collaborative project. The students, the faculty, the campus leadership, and the alumni have been there with and for me all the way. It is to each of you that I am most grateful. This law school, whether standing alone or in its new role as part of Rutgers Law, will always have my complete loyalty, my respect, and my love. One last comment for the class of 2014. You are the largest class in the history of the school. You had me at hello. But what you did for me in giving me the first SBA Award for Excellence and the inscription on the beautiful sculpture means more to me than I can express. You are and will always be a special class. Thank you. Following our tradition, it is now my pleasure to introduce our dedicated third-year class president, Chintan Desai, who will speak on behalf of the class.
Sorry, just had to lower that a little bit. All right. Wow, all right. So, I was going to start with a graduation selfie, but I think that's been overdone, so we're going to pass on that. Welcome to the fellow graduates, parents, family members, friends, deans, esteemed faculty, significant others, Teletubbies, less successful siblings, and future clients. I want to thank every one of you for attending this event and supporting us during these years in law school. Behind every law student stood a supportive parent, sibling, significant other, ex-girlfriend, ex-boyfriend, ex-husband, ex-wife, and former friend. All of you, in some form or fashion, have helped us become who we are today, and you've played an integral role in allowing us to pursue this law degree. Well, fellow 2014 class members, we finally did it. Juris Doctorates. Juris Doctorates. What a transformation we've undergone. 3 years ago, we came to Rutgers-Camden, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, ready to take on the world. Those were the days. Those were the days. We were still able to interact with humans then. Remember that? When I first wrote this speech, I struggled to find exactly one word or phrase that could accurately describe this class. Close-knit, ruthless, loyal, large, girthy, humble, defiant. All of those words readily apply. However, I'm reminded of an age-old legal principle we were taught 1L a year, the doctrine of res ipsa loquitur. Commonly translated, it is the thing which speaks for itself. This class literally does speak for itself. There is no one singular aspect that accurately represents and describes the special bond we share. To understand why our class was special, you have to understand the unique law school moments we've experienced together. I remember our first Towards class 1L year when Professor Friedel told us that our humor and ability to interact with others would never be the same. Although he told us to hold on to our core values because that was important, he said we would never be funny again. You see, as law students, we were predisposed to being unusual and incapable of participating in conventional human interaction. He told us that our friends and family would struggle to understand us and relate to us. Oh, how right Professor Friedel was. When we heard the word car accident, we would think lawsuit. Every legal doctrine became worthy of an internet meme or a Facebook post. Facebook became a therapeutic outlet for frustrations about the voluminous reading assignments and the convoluted hypothetical questions. That is, when the wireless internet actually worked. Law school had quickly taken over our once normal way of life. Worlds were colliding. Our friends would ask, "Why don't you hang out with us anymore? Where have you been?" We would just shrug. I don't know. Whenever we would get into debates or arguments with our siblings, we would begin our answers with, "It depends." They hated that. What had law school done to us? It changed the way we talked, the way we thought, and the way we interacted with each other. And then there was the Socratic method, the tradition of cold calling on students in the classroom. In the beginning, we attempted to predict the patterns professors would use. That never worked. We would also preemptively raise our hand. "Oh, I'll answer this question, so they won't ask me another one." No, then the professor would go rogue and call on us twice. In our attempt to embrace the Socratic method, we emulated a game called Word of the Day. Now, comedian Demetri Martin refers to this in his stand-up act, and I'm sure that actually the professors had their own word of the day, although we don't know, and I guess they've been outed now, like all of us. So in this game, the object was to vote on the word the day before, mention that word in an answer in class, and you'd be awarded points. Sounds simple, right? Nope, we were law students. We did not believe in simple. Much like the US government, we had a system of checks and balances. However, I'd like to think that our system was much more efficient. We laid out rules, regulations, and a set of bylaws to govern this game. For example, the word could only be mentioned once per class, and it had to be in a meaningful way. You see, you couldn't simply just rattle off the word. Our colleagues would have to also verify the usage. Yes, that's right, we're a really weird bunch. So, we told ourselves this will encourage us to participate more in class. Similar to the original game, our first word of the day was sassy. Yes, that's right, sassy. The next day in class, we hear, "Professor Friedel, are juries allowed to award sassy amounts of damages?" Thus began our version of Word of the Day. Early on, we had concerns. Unrelated to the word of the day, a student said the phrase, "throes of passion." The professor said, "You know what's funny? That's a funny way to phrase it. We know about this game. Never mind." And then that was it. Keys started typing on everyone's computer. Everyone panicked. IMs, Facebook messages. Abort, abort. We're done. They're going to kick us out of law school. End the game now. At one point, we thought the professors had their own game, for we heard the words splitting the baby and mashy several times in one day. Classmates would say, "I have to finish tomorrow's reading so I can use tomorrow's word in class." Who would have thought word of the day actually made us do assigned readings? Other words included fishing expedition, naked assertions, and yes, wet blanket. Although it was our way of coping with the Socratic method, it exemplified the closest of this class. Coincidentally, all of our grades quickly began to improve thereafter. Oh, how far we've come since that day. I wasn't kidding when I said the class of 2014 was one of the greatest classes ever assembled. Although we were the largest class, we were one of the closest classes. We would go on camping trips together, skiing trips together. We would do the Harlem Shake together. And we would play softball together. Law school softball was a special time. We would also celebrate and commiserate finals, mock trials, and moot court competitions with each other, whether it was at Barrister's Ball. Yes, Barrister's Ball did happen on time. The Victor Pub, or maybe it was our semi-annual end-of-exams pilgrimage to Drinkers. By and large, we ruled that law school bridge. Although we were a unique group of individuals, some may call it a special group, we all came together at Rutgers-Camden Law for a special, more meaningful purpose. Members of our class have come from as close as Camden, and as far away as California, Texas, and yes, Nick, even Canada. Each one of us came here with a different background, a unique perspective, and an inspiring story. Although our viewpoints occasionally differed, we shared a mutual appreciation and respect for each other. When I look back to all the accolades and achievements of this class, there is no one achievement that solely defines our success. Rather, it is that often used phrase in the law, the totality of the circumstances. The totality of the achievements of this class are truly worthy of celebration. Maybe it was this class's outstanding public interest work in the community through the various pro bono projects and clinical programs. Maybe it was the participation of this class in moot court competitions as close as Camden and as far away as Germany and Vienna. Maybe it was this class's strong-willed support of each other as we went through each of our personal endeavors. When I think of our class, I think of the loyalty we've shown to each other and the collective achievements we've overcome. As we prepare to enter the real world and attempt to interact in social settings with other human beings, I will be honest with you when I say it will be a struggle. Some of us already have employment, some of us don't, and we're still seeking employment. Although the future is uncertainty, there's one certainty that can provide us some comfort. The connection the class of 2014 shares will help us navigate the obstacles we will face, the uncertain times we will have, and guide us towards achieving the next step in our lives. Even though our ability to interact with other human beings will never be the same, and probably will never recover, at least we'll have each other. I know some of you are thinking, what just happened to the last 3 years? Although we tell ourselves how much we've disliked law school and all of its endless hypothetical questions, unrealistic exam questions, and stress, there was something deep-rooted in each of us that made us appreciate the law. We learned to critically analyze cases, we improved our public speaking abilities, and most importantly, we learned how a bill becomes a law. If you feel you haven't learned anything yet, don't worry, bar review courses start on the bridge on Tuesday. Too soon? Yeah, way too soon. To the class of 2014, I ask you to continue this journey together. Take forth the skills you've developed and discovered in law school and apply them to your future endeavors. As you celebrate this weekend, take this moment to savor the experience that we've all shared. Embrace the new relationships and the lifelong friendships we've developed. Although we will go our separate ways, our paths will occasionally cross, and deep down inside, we will always be grateful for the story we share. I truly can say the accomplishments and achievements of this class speak for themselves. So hereby, it is certified that upon recommendation of the 3L class president and the law school bridge, with the powers conferred upon me by nobody at all, I now pronounce you the greatest class ever, with all the rights, privileges, and duties thereto pertaining here and elsewhere. Stand tall and proudly represent one of the greatest classes ever assembled, the Rutgers-Camden class of 2014, Res Ipsa.
Thank you, Chintan. My only advice would be when you criticize the IT department, you should make sure they're not back there controlling the mic. It is now my pleasure to introduce the very hardworking Student Bar Association President, Ben Foster, who will offer the class's greetings and introduce our speaker. Ben?
Chintan is a hard act to follow. You know, I got to work with Chintan as SBA president. I was lucky enough that he served as the 3L class president, and he is the hardest working guy on SBA this year. Let's hear it for Chintan one more time. Now, I'm looking forward to introducing our speaker today, but I can't do that until we also recognize the importance of this day. It's Dean Solomon's last graduation. That means so much to me that I'm here for that, and I think that we're all lucky to, as a class. So let's hear it for Dean Solomon. All right, back to business. Well, we're all together today. It's my honor to stand here and introduce our speaker, retired Chief Justice Deborah Ports. Chief Justice Ports made history for serving as New Jersey's first woman Attorney General and first woman Chief Justice of the New Jersey Supreme Court. After serving for a decade, yes. She served for a decade on the New Jersey Supreme Court and then joined the firm Drinker, Biddle, and Reith, where she continues to focus her practice on government and corporate investigations, mediation and arbitration, and appellate matters. She's also served a 3-year tenure as visiting jurist emerita in residence here at Rutgers-Camden and Newark. She received her bachelor's degree from Brooklyn College and continued her education at Columbia University in Brandeis. She taught literature at Ursinus College before receiving her law degree from the University of Pennsylvania School of Law. After law school, Chief Justice Ports joined the Office of the New Jersey Attorney General and advanced to the position of Assistant Attorney General and Director of the Division of Law. She then served as Chief Counsel to Governor Thomas Keene and practiced law and became partner at the Princeton firm Jameson, Moore, Peskin, and Spicer. She remained there until her appointment as New Jersey's first female Attorney General, where she successfully defended Megan's Law in state and federal court and chaired the task force that proposed and implemented the reformation of the juvenile justice system in New Jersey. She took the oath of office as Chief Justice of the New Jersey Supreme Court in 1996 and oversaw many improvements, including the unification of the courts into a single statewide system and an increase in the diversity of the judicial workforce. Chief Justice Ports has been honored with many awards, including the National Association of Women Judges Lifetime Achievement Award, the Alumna Award of Merit from the University of Pennsylvania, the Alumna of the Year Award from Brooklyn College, and maybe most importantly, our own Mary Philbrook Public Interest Award. Please join me in welcoming Chief Justice Deborah Ports.
Is that
Here. I'll just step down for 1 minute.
okay?
There we go.
That's what happens when you're short. When I was Attorney General, the state police used to bring one of these platforms around in the car so that wherever I spoke, I had it. This is a very special day for the class of 2014, and I am delighted to share it with you. 15 years ago, as you heard, I opened my commencement speech to the members of the Rutgers-Camden Law School class of 1999 with substantially those words. It was, after all, their special day. But I am very proud, so very proud, to be here again with you. 1999 was Raymond Solomon's first year as Dean of the Law School, and this year is his last, as of July 1st. Indeed, I feel something like the bookend that started and now closes the Dean's shelf of years. So let me begin now with my best wishes to Ray Solomon as Provost of Rutgers-Camden, and my deep appreciation, which I know you share, for his stewardship of this great law school and the faculty and students who have walked its halls. The Dean told me only a few days ago that when he looked back on his tenure here, he thought with pride of the students he had come to know and of where they are today, in academia, even at this very law school, at major law firms and corporations, in the nonprofit sector, in positions at every level of government, and some in business and other like pursuits where nevertheless their training in the law provides the foundation for what they do. That Ray Solomon counts his success in your success is both a tribute to you and the mark of a great dean. If I had a champagne glass, I would raise it, but we will make do with words. Thank you, Dean Raymond Solomon. I would also note another more personal change that affects what I want to say to you today. 7 years after my first visit here, I completed my tenure as Chief Justice of the New Jersey Supreme Court, and by constitutional fiat was retired. Not having learned how to do that well, some would say I flunked retirement, almost immediately I went back to the practice of law. And then, as you have also heard, from September 2010 to May 2013, I held a 3-year teaching position as Juris Emerita in residence at the Rutgers Newark Law School in the fall and here at Rutgers-Camden Law School in the spring. That was a forerunner of things to do in the combination of those law schools. You know that I have been teaching, many of you, but I mention my 3 years at the law school because when I spoke to the class of 1999, I did not know this school the way I know it now, having been here. The students, the faculty, the culture of the school, and much more. The things that make this institution exceptional. I feel connected to you through those of you who have been my students. I have met with you outside of class. I have heard your moot court arguments, and I know firsthand some of your problems and some of your dreams. You are graduates to me, yes, but you are also real people who have names and faces I recognize. You have worked hard, have held part-time jobs, many of you, and have had other responsibilities outside of law school, and yet you have come to class ready to participate, to question, to learn. Best of all, you have dared, on occasion, to tell a former Chief Justice she was wrong when she provoked you and pushed you to think for yourselves. Some of you, no doubt, found what I said about judicial decision-making and the law too progressive. But we listened to one another, and most important, we were respectful to one another. And you were involved, as you studied, in the work of the clinics and in a variety of projects designed to help those less fortunate than you find justice in a complex legal system not easily navigated. Your spirit and your dedication make me optimistic when I worry about the future of the world we now inhabit. I know you will succeed because I have seen and understood what you have given for your education and what you have gained here. The faculty members sitting behind me on this stage have prepared you to do your best, and you will do your best. Like the members of the class of 1999, you are different from the person you were before you came here. You have learned to think differently, to look at things differently. Law school has sharpened your analytical abilities, has developed your problem-solving skills, and I would add, has taught you to believe in yourselves and to build on your strengths as you conquer your weaknesses. You have had a first-class legal education at a first-class law school. Yet, much more has changed over those 15 years. In 1999, the stock market was repeatedly breaking record highs, and the economy was growing at a rapid pace. There had been an extraordinary acceleration of scientific and technological development, especially toward the end of the 20th century. Animals had been cloned. Astronomers had found a solar system capable of supporting life. And the internet had opened new worlds to so many. The future seemed limitless. Your world is a different world. We are still emerging slowly from the Great Recession. Incredibly, scientific and technological breakthroughs have come even faster, at breakneck speed, and we were barely keeping up before. The amount of information alone is overwhelming. We live in a true global economy, and we know almost immediately when there is a tsunami or a violent hurricane or a blowout at a nuclear plant or an abduction of young girls, whether those things happen in a remote corner of the world or near home. Most of you in the graduating class were but children at the time, but none of us has fully overcome the horror of September 11th, 2001. All of us are still, more than 12 years later, trying to understand and adjust to a new and harsher reality. So much has changed in the way we perceive the world and our places in it. And battles we fought, victories we thought ours, for individual rights, equality for women and minorities, a fair minimum wage, housing for those less affluent, to list but a few, have not been won, are still claiming casualties. Just by way of a single example, I have learned more recently a powerful lesson about judicial independence and about judicial reappointments based on merit. I have learned that seemingly immutable safeguards meant to protect the judiciary from political influence are in reality fragile, and they can be lost unless we fight for them. I have learned that nothing important can be taken for granted. Though I rejoiced yesterday in the renomination for tenure of Chief Justice Stuart Rabner, I no longer take the renomination of highly qualified judges for granted. Once I did. The members of this graduating class have also seen firsthand the vulnerability of institutions you cherish. Rutgers-Camden Law School did not, will not leave the Rutgers umbrella, but will join Rutgers-Newark Law School to be an equal partner in a venture to create one great school. Again, battles were fought, battles in which many of you participated and the deans spoke of, and those battles were won. But you too learned that you must be ever vigilant, that you must fight for and protect the things you value. And in 1999 also, I worried about the growing gap between the rich and the poor. I asked the class to take note of the widening gulf between those who are financially secure and those who live paycheck to paycheck, who have virtually no means of support. You, the class of 2014, face a chasm, not a gulf, a disparity of enormous proportions between the wealthy few and the vast majority who live paycheck to paycheck. For you, even as the Great Recession recedes, your law degree will serve you well, no matter what career path you choose. Though there may be fewer opportunities than there were in 1999, you are poised to find them and to reach for your goals, whatever they may be. Again, be your best, wherever you are, at whatever you try. Always be ready to learn, to use the skills you developed at this law school to look for the next opportunity and the next. Your hard work and your dedication will bring financial rewards and, equally important, satisfaction in your work. Never forget that large majority that has less than you have. Never forget that you join a profession with a long history of giving back. When you are financially secure, when you occupy positions of power and influence, you have a commensurate responsibility to others, to serve. There is joy in succeeding, and there is joy in giving, too. Hold on always to the values that make life worthwhile. Do not lose sight of what is important. Always, always stand tall as a person of integrity. Never take shortcuts that shift your moral compass. A conservative op-ed writer for the Trenton Times often criticized the opinions I wrote. Sometimes it seemed only minutes after they were issued. He abhorred, in strident, angry language, what he called my activist tendencies. And then one day he said that although I was wrong-headed, or words to that effect, he had reluctantly to admit that I had far too much integrity ever to be impeached. It was one of the finest compliments I ever received, and I treasure it to this day. I wish each and every one of you in the class of 2014 the same compliment in your future. So be proud of what you have accomplished. Remember even those of you who have not yet gotten that job you wanted, even those of you who are not yet sure about where you are headed, that what you have learned is yours, that it can never be taken from you. And for all of you, know that there will be surprises, unexpected opportunities that present themselves when least expected. Use them, build on them, take advantage of every gift that comes your way. I never dreamed that I would be New Jersey's first woman Attorney General or New Jersey's first woman Chief Justice, but it happened. Like most of us faced with such daunting opportunities, I wondered whether I was smart enough, strong enough, or experienced enough to do what was expected of me. Justice Souter once told me that it took him 3 years on the United States Supreme Court to realize that he actually could do the work of the court. He told me I was sitting at my desk one day, 3 years later after my appointment, and I looked up and I said, I can do this. Hearing from him, knowing what he said, helped. You too can do the work when called upon to do it. If I have a final word of advice, it is to tell you to take one step at a time. Always be the best you can be, and return to others in full measure what you have gained for yourselves. but I think I already said that. So good luck, and thank you for inviting me to be here with you today. Congratulations.
Thank you, Debbie, for those brilliant remarks, and on a personal level, thank you for those gracious remarks about me. I can't imagine anyone I would want to have either start or mark the ending of my deanship than you, and I appreciate your taking the time to come here and to be part of this today, so thank you so much. Before the magic moment, let me recognize those whom the class has chosen to honor in the ceremonies today. The Grand Marshal is Professor Jason Cohen. Our readers are Professors Michael Carrier and John Beckerman. Hooding and probably in some case hugging the candidates will be Dean Camille Andrews, Professors Ari Afalalo, Roger Clark, and Steve Friedel. And I'm also assisted in awarding the degrees by our Director of Budget and Finance, J.Dev Chilera. We are also pleased that a tradition we started several years ago is continuing. 17 of our alumni will join me in presenting diplomas to their relatives. The list includes 1 mother, 6 fathers, 3 brothers, 4 uncles, and 2 cousins, and Benjamin Axelrod's sister, Aviva, will present him his degree representing their late father, Abe, who was in the class of 1974. Before I ask Chancellor Wendell Pritchett to come up here, let me say that this is also his last graduation, as he is returning to the University of Pennsylvania next year as the acting dean of the law school. No individual worked harder or more brilliantly or more effectively to keep this campus as part of Rutgers, and we all owe Wendell a great deal of thanks for his strategic efforts. But he has also been more than that to the law school and to the campus. He's been a consummate teacher of a number of you, a scholar, a friend, and a great supporter of the law school, and we wish him the greatest success in this next stage of his career. Wendell, will you please come up and join me and authorize the conferring of the degrees?
Thank you, Dean Solomon, and it has been a pleasure to get to know so many of you, and I look forward to bragging about your accomplishments for years to come. But let's get down to business. Dean Solomon, as Chancellor of Rutgers University-Camden campus, and by virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Governors and the Board of Trustees of the University, I hereby authorize the conferring of the degrees to the candidates recommended by the faculty of the School of Law, Camden. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you, Wendell. And now it's my honor and great pleasure to confer the degrees on the class of 2014. Will the degree candidates please rise? Upon the recommendation of the faculty of the School of Law Camden, and by virtue of the authority granted to me by Chancellor Pritchett and by the boards of governors and trustees of Rutgers, the State University of New Jersey, I confer on each of you the degree of Juris Doctor with all rights, privileges, obligations, and immunities appertaining thereto here and elsewhere. Congratulations. Our readers will now announce the individual names of the graduates and note the academic honors they have received. At this point, I used to say that the university regulations ask you to please hold your individual applause, cheers, shouts, etc., until all the names have been read. However, you may know that the university has radically changed its graduation ceremony and dropped that regulation. They made all sorts of noise in New Brunswick on Sunday, so you should feel free to do likewise.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Benjamin E. Axelrod, accompanied by his sister Aviva, presenting on behalf of their father Abraham, Camden Law Class of 1974. Michael Adler. Lauren Alfaro. Albert W. Allison, accompanied by his children. John P. Amenhauser. Aisha Ames. Monil D. Amin, accompanied by his brother, Romil D. Amin, class of 2013. Jonathan I. Amira. Robert G. Amrich. Victoria A. Andelfinger. Andre R. Araujo. Okay. Nicole S. Arfuso. Sean C. Armstrong. Okay. Kevin J. Balistreri. Jacob E. Bellarato. Evan M. Barker. Rachel R. Bellett. Nicholas P. Bennett. Daniel A. Berger, degree to be presented by his father, Edward L. Berger, class of 1980. Gregory S. Bergman, cum laude. Jeffrey T. Blackwell. Brian M. Block, magna cum laude. Good. Got it. Shannon L. Bogan, accompanied by his wife and their children. Matthew R. Bradley. You can go to the other one. Elliot Brown. Kelly Brennan. Stephen J. Brody. Tariq A. Brooks.
How you doing, man? Congratulations. See you later.
William D. Brown, accompanied by his son, William Brown, Jr. Nathan M. Buchter, cum laude. Maura Burke. Melissa L. Buterbaugh.
Congratulations.
Kevin M. Buttery. Diane M. Camacho. Aaron P. Campbell. Elizabeth A. Carbone, cum laude. Alex S. Capozzi, degree to be awarded by his father, Edward Capozzi, class of 2004. Jeffrey R. Koretsky. Alyssa L. Chabak. Robert J. Campaglio. John J. Clark. Giorgio F. Komninos. Danielle M. Conroy. Jacqueline Rosetta Cooper. Kellen P. Coppola. Justin A. Corballis, magna cum laude. Evalie Crespo. Shlomo Z. Citron, summa cum laude. Chad B. Davis. Cora A. Dayon. Daniel J. DeFilio, magna cum laude.
Thank you.
Tiffany C. de Grand Maison, accompanied by her daughter and son. D. John C. Del Pino. Noah L. Dennison, magna cum laude. Pierre J. DePeister. Chintan A. Desai. Raquel Di Stefano. Nicole B. DiGiacobi. Leah A. Di Matteo. Jacqueline D. DiRubo. Zach R. Dolchin. Jeffrey S. Dorman. James C. Draper. Michael F. Duffy.
Congratulations.
Danielle M. Dwyer. Ashley E. Edwards, cum laude. Andrew S. Essler, magna cum laude. This is going to be a little hard. Omid J. Esmail Zadagan. James M. Esposito. Adriana F. Exler. Dominic F. Fahey. Joanna H. Farber, summa cum laude, accompanied by her daughter. George Farmakis. Daniel L. Feldman. Congratulations. Travis J. Ferguson.
Congratulations, Peter.
Peter Y. Fu. Gavin Fung. Brian J. Garrity, summa cum laude. Rebecca R. Golozin. Susan J. Gerhardt. Scott J. Gershman.
Congratulations. Okay.
Aaron M. Gevers, degree to be awarded by his uncle Donald Parisi, class of 1982. Christina M. Glazer. Richard M. Godwin. Victoria A. Gonzalez. Amir P. Gudarzi Pana.
Congratulations.
Alexandra E. Gumis. Tiara J. Green. Kimberly A. Greenfield. Samantha Reed Gross. Robert J. Guarney. Jason J. Gus. Patrick A. Haggerty. Kiara K. Hahn, cum laude. Jasmine Danielle Harley. Patrick M. Harrington. Matthew J. Hartnett. Keith A. Heinold.
Congratulations.
Michael A. Herdman.
Put a cum laude in there if you want.
Brian K. Herman, degree to be awarded by his parents, Brenda Utzler, class of 1999, and James Herman, class of 1973. Renee A. Hertz. Melissa L. Hogan, cum laude. Jordan Scott Flynn Hollander, summa cum laude. Abigail R. Holmes. Ann E. Hoover, magna cum laude. Bo Gaston Howard.
Thank you. Congratulations.
Julius R. Hughes, accompanied by his son. Nicholas F. Hung. Sean P. Vistas, cum laude.
Congratulations.
Thomas E. Hines.
You ready? You're ready, man.
Curlin Hippolyte. Gina D. Imperato. Maureen L. Ingersoll. Alicia R. Ivory. Alexandra S. Jacobs, magna cum laude. James P. Jakonski. Ragnar Yeager. Nina James, degree to be awarded by her uncle, the Honorable Ronald Freeman of the class of 1972. Philip Stephen Jaworski. Michael M. John. Carla M. Jones. Aaron N. Joshua. Joel S. Juffy.
You gotta wait for Carrier. But congratulations.
Stephen Kaminsky. Naveed Karbasyun. Cameron Carl. Jeff Caston. Kathleen Kelleher. Joseph Kilpatrick. Adam D. Klein. Lauren Crone. Christine V. Lafferty. Eileen Lampitt, presented by her mother, Assemblywoman Pam Lampitt. Brian M. Lands, presented by his father, Alan Lands, class of 1978. Yeah, it is. Lauren M. Law. Hector Melendrez Ledesma. David S. Lee. Jang J. Lee. Lila Leonard. Hannah G. Leone, cum laude. Christina Lavecchia. Jonathan J. Litwinowitz. Jessica E. Lousing, cum laude. Anthony Lopes. Heather M. Lowney. Patrick S. McAdams. Muhammad A. Mahmood, magna cum laude. Rebecca Mamoni. Daniel M. Mendara. Christina E. Marazzo. Ricardo J. Marenko. Eric J. Marin. Jane Mariotti. Melissa E. Mark. John P. Marshall, presented by his brother-in-law, Larry Rosa, class of 2012. Travis Martindale Jarvis. Lauren Martinez.
You're not going to miss it.
Michael A. Messino. Gregory K. Mayer. Timothy M. McCarthy, magna cum laude. Jillian L. McClear. Alexander C. Meck, magna cum laude. Congrats.
Congratulations on the honors. I don't want to kill you. Oops. Get perfect at the back.
Jessica L. Meller, cum laude. Randolph E. Mershon, cum laude. David B. Michelson. Thank you. Abiola G. Miles, accompanied by her children.
My turn.
Julia C. Miller, presented by her father, Francis Miller, class of 1981. Hey, good. Kevin R. Miller.
Congratulations, guys.
James F. Miranda. Erin A. Mitchell. Robert J. Moran, presented by his uncle Robert J. Moran, class of 1967. Courtney A. Munnings. Hey, how are you? Congrats.
My time. Congratulations.
Benjamin A. Nadell. Keith E. Nagy, cum laude.
Nice work. Congratulations on the...
Herbert J. Nahas. Hey, congrats.
Great having you.
David J. Napierski, cum laude, presented by his uncle Stephen Krause, class of 1979.
Perfect, yeah.
John G. Neckenchuk, cum laude. Douglas J. Nazco. Christopher Notley. Christopher K. Ogino. Nicole Ojo Ohikware. Joshua M. Olaf, cum laude. Brian P. O'Neill. Rebecca A. O'Neill. Patrick O'Reilly, cum laude. Michael T. Papandrea. Hey, congrats.
Nice work.
Jonathan N. Patujas, presented by his cousin Cosmo Diamantis, class of 2012. Okay, congratulations. Richard Paul. Go ahead. Linda M. Payne. Lindsay T. Peck. Lauren A. Perella. Philip A. Portantino, cum laude. Charles A. Prescott, Jr. Stephen L. Rabb. Thank you. Mashi R. Rappaport with her daughter Ella. Alicia M. Reeves. Jeremy I. Reich.
It's an adventure. It's perfect. It's perfect.
Brad M. Ryder, magna cum laude. Alicia J. Rimali. Elena J. Renz, magna cum laude. Michelle L. Ringel. Sean P. Robinson. Sean E. Rose.
It's fine at the back anyway.
Matthew Rossi. William Z. Rothschild, accompanied by his son and daughter. Yep. Nicholas G. Rotsides, cum laude.
Nice work on the
Joseph Z. Rucker. Emily P. Santoro, cum laude. Hey, congrats. Jillian B. Saputelli. Rachel L. Savicki. Jessica M. Saxon. Stephen Sayer. Adam Scalise. Michael B. Schur, accompanied by his daughter Charlotte. Adam L. Shore. Christopher J. Sedefian. Zachary M. Seelenfreund. Jaydeep Sen. Kushbu Shah. Marco Shockey. Stephen L. Schur, presented by his father, Paul Schur, 1977. Corey C. Seidelsky, cum laude. Andrew M. Simmons. Mahasiya, magna cum laude. Andrew M. Sloan. Robert W. Slomich. Andrew J. Snoddy. Matthew E. Snyder. Joshua E. Sunstein, presented by his father, Paul Sunstein, class of 1973, and his brother, Jason Sunstein, class of 2002. Travis J. Stewart. Congratulations. Christian D. Stout, magna cum laude, presented by his children, or walking with his children.
Hey guys, nice to see you. Yeah.
Mark W. Strassley. Hey, good, congrats.
You can come here one day too.
Dominic Sucardi. Peter K. Suchecki. Brian R. Suhensky, cum laude. James W. Sukarev. Bridget A. Sykes. Erin A. Shaleski. Trevor Taniguchi, cum laude. Ashley C. Taylor. Lindsay Thomas. Keith R. Trimble. Alexandra N. Vidala. Milagros Vasquez. Brittany A. Verga, presented by her her cousin Arthur A. de Padova, 1978. James T. Walther. Kyle J. Weber. James E. Webster. Jeffrey B. Yaffa, magna cum laude. Young T. Yoon. Hunter Yost. Amy Melissa Young. Jennifer L. Yu, magna cum laude. Jeremy J. Zacharias, cum laude. Timothy M. Zangi, cum laude. the class of 2014.
Let's do one more round of applause for the class. Yes. Please be seated. Our ceremonies will conclude with a welcome to the profession from Meredith Alirchik, who currently serves as the Chancellor of the Alumni Association of the School of Law. Meredith?
Thank you, Dean Solomon. Distinguished guests, family, friends, and most important of all, graduates, it is my pleasure to stand here today to welcome the class of 2014 as the newest members of the Rutgers-Camden Law Alumni Association. First of all, let me congratulate you on your accomplishments. It sounds like you were quite the class, and I have no doubt that you will move on to do great things. As the Chancellor of the Alumni Association, my first official task of the school year is usually to welcome the incoming first years at orientation. This past September, as I spoke to the students and their families first embarking on the journey you have just completed, I told them why the association matters. I explained that the goal of the Alumni Association is to be there for each of them with the support that they need to be successful. I told them that we do this in the hopes that the relationship they develop with Rutgers Law will continue and be meaningful long after graduation. So why do I share this with you? I share this to remind you that the Alumni Association matters just as much to you as it does to them, even as our role in your journey changes. It matters because our law school, our alma mater, the school on all of our resumes, is only as strong as the support it draws from the alumni base. I share what I said last fall in the hopes that you will hear it, realize how far you have come, recognize all that you have to offer, and decide to become an active part of us. There are so many ways to become involved, to ensure that your relationship with Rutgers Law does in fact remain meaningful, and most of the ways are free. I also share my words from last fall to remind you that the support we offer doesn't end today, even as you become able to offer your own support to others. We remain interested, invested even, in your success, and encourage you to use us as a resource. However, while I am here to ask you not to forget us, I also ask you not to forget each other. Keep in touch with your classmates, for they will also become your colleagues, and you never know where the connections you've made here will take you. As I close and let you get to your well-deserved celebrations, I ask you once more to keep in touch. Your relationship with the school and with the Alumni Association does not end today, even as it enters a different phase. Keep in touch, remember your experiences here, and consider doing your part to ensure the same for those who come after you. Congratulations again.
Thank you, Meredith. Before we adjourn, I'd like to publicly thank several people without whom all of the ceremonies of graduation would not have been possible. Associate Dean Angela Baker has worked tirelessly, and that's an understatement, and effectively. She's probably still working, but she's just terrific. And she's been assisted by many people, most notably Arlene Lentini, Jill Friedman, and the staffs of Career Services in the Alumni Office. I'd also like to thank Dr. Schiavo and his fellow musicians in the brass ensemble for their contributions to the festivities. The class of 2014 and I invite you to join us for a reception at our new law school building. We're going to do a processional march to the school from here to the waterfront. I have to tell you, 3 of the last 4 years, we've gotten rain done. We got halfway there, but I'm betting today it looks sunny, so we're going to try this. We invite all the graduates, faculty, and friends who are able and want to join our march to do so. Transportation is also provided for those who choose not to join us. I would just ask our guests to wait until the platform party and our graduates have exited before proceeding to the law school. Thank you for attending today's ceremony. It's been wonderful.
Thank you.